Stan's childhood was overshadowed by relentless school bullying. There was a bully named Stelio who would pick on him at the slightest provocation. Yet it was precisely this ordeal that forged him into a true tough guy. In stark contrast, his son Steve was a timid, cowardly wimp.
I'm not okay!
He needed someone to hold his hand to cross the street, and when bullied, he'd only run to tell the teacher, constantly muttering, "I'm not okay." All this filled Stan with bitter dissatisfaction. Determined to turn his son into a real man, he decided to make Steve endure the same hardships he'd suffered as a kid. Steve was repeatedly hurt by the bullying, and this finally caught his mother Francine's attention. But Steve was too scared to say a word. Unable to get answers, Francine marched straight to the school and demanded to see the security footage. Stan panicked and fled at the sight, with Francine hot on his heels. Just when Stan thought he'd escaped trouble, he was confronted by his wife's fury. He had no choice but to claim he was teaching Steve to fight back, even threatening that he'd keep bullying Steve if the boy never learned to stand up for himself. Helpless, Francine resolved to train Steve in hand-to-hand combat personally, only to find that Steve had absolutely no athletic talent at all, forcing her to give up in frustration. Cornered and with no other options, Steve challenged Stan to a final showdown. When the appointed time came, Stan waited with eager anticipation to see his son's progress, only to discover that Steve had paid $10 to hire Stelio, the living nightmare of his childhood. Bludgeoned mercilessly by Stelio, Stan was left completely defenseless, screaming in agony again and again. In the end, he had no choice but to swear that he would respect all of his son's wishes from that day forward.